Hey guys, it's Gawain, and today we're going to be taking a look at possibly the most underrated Apex legend, Wattson. Wattson is a controller legend that specialises in flank watch, area denial, and projectile denial. Wattson is a shockingly underrated legend that can have a massive impact on each teamfight when played correctly. Let's learn how to play her. Wattson is equipped with her Fatal Fences, of which she gets 4 charges before having to wait a 15-second cooldown per fence node. Placing a singular fence node won't do anything, but as soon as you place another one or connect it to a pre-existing one, then 2 poles will rise from the ground, creating an electrical barrier. The nodes you place down will automatically connect to one another as long as you're in the placement mode that you enter when pressing your tactical button. It is possible to connect to older nodes, but it can be buggy at times and not allow you to. You can connect one node to 2 others, and the maximum distance between nodes you can have is 20 meters. If an enemy passes through the fence, they will take 20 damage, and if they sit in the fence, they will take 20 damage per second. Enemies will also get slowed for 3 seconds. You'll know when an enemy passes through your fence when an icon appears on screen and Wattson says a voice line. When you or a teammate want to cross the electrical barrier, it will temporarily deactivate on a proximity basis, so don't get too close when enemies are around, otherwise they'll walk straight through unharmed. You get 12 total nodes to place down, and you can keep track of this by checking the rhombuses that turn blue when you place a fence down on your HUD when in fencing mode. After you place down a 13th node, your first will disappear. Now we know how the fences work. Where should you use them? Officially, this tactical ability is called Perimeter Security, and it's called that for a reason, so as a general rule of thumb, blocking off doorways and flank routes around your team are a good idea. You can use 2 nodes for this to make a simple barrier across, making sure that the nodes are out of line of sight of the enemy as they can be shot and they have 25 health each. You can also use 3 nodes for this type of blockade to make a triangle, meaning the enemy will be forced to shoot either 2 of 3 nodes or take longer to move around the fence. Generally, using 3 nodes is stronger for a singular doorway, but if you're running out of nodes and need to block off multiple entryways, then 2 will suffice. I will only really place my fences down in buildings when I know we're going to stay in one for a while, or we make contact with enemies. Speaking of, if your team is being aggressive and you're already somewhat on a flank route, use your fences to block off that exit to hopefully pin down and kill the enemy. If you're running from an enemy, you can place one fence node down outside a doorway, close the door and heal up. When the enemy reaches the door, place another node down to create a fence in the middle of the doorway, hopefully stunning the enemy and destroying the door so you can beam them. There aren't loads of complex strats you can do with these literal fence posts, so just block off flanks, doorways and windows for your team to ensure that your team doesn't get squad wiped by that wraith who will spam jump and tap strafe off zip lines and into your fences if they're not careful. Wattson gets 3 passive abilities, the Controller class passive and 2 unique ones. The Controller class legends get access to ring consoles which reveal where the next ring location is once per ring. It takes 7 seconds to fully activate the ring console, and then a green ring will appear on your map, marking the next round's ring location. Use ring consoles as often as you can so your team knows where to rotate to and you know where to set up your fences. Wattson's other passive abilities are passive shield regeneration and some enhanced ultimate accelerant mechanics. Electricity Lady straps 2 AA batteries to her Evo shields to regenerate 1 shield health every 2 seconds after not taking damage for 6 seconds. This isn't as good as Octane's passive regen, but it will nicely top up the odd bits of damage you still have left to heal after using a cell or 2. I doubt you'll notice this passive very much, but it's there. It's trying its hardest. Wattson's real passive ability is her getting special treatment for helping design the ring so she can stack 2 ultimate accelerants per inventory slot as opposed to the regular one, and each accelerant fully charges your ultimate rather than just charging part of it. My advice is to always try to have 1 slot for ultimate accelerant so you can just use your ultimate and pop one and then pop your ultimate again immediately after if you need to. Just don't use your accelerants when mid-fight and you'll be fine. Wattson's ultimate, the Interception Pylon, is the best part of her kit by far. This is a big Tesla coil that absorbs all projectiles within its 12.5 meter radius and heals up 250 shield health shared between all legends within its radius. Everything this pylon can eat and delete is on screen now. Just bear in mind that this list applies to both hostile and friendly projectiles, but it will only eat your team's projectiles if they land within the radius, so you can still throw them outside of the radius. There will be a blue circle on the floor surrounding the pylon to indicate how many shields it can heal out of the base 20, and you can ping the pylon to check the percentage too. These shields will be shared evenly between you and your team if you take damage, but if enemies enter the radius, they will get healed from it too. You will regenerate one shield every 0.2 seconds when inside the radius, and you will start regenerating shields again 1 second after taking damage. Furthermore, your passive shield regen stacks with this, and your tactical cooldowns will get reduced to 3 seconds rather than the usual 15. You want to place your pylon down when you enter a team fight, but make sure it's out of sight of the enemy so they can't shoot it, as it has a health pool of 150 health. This way you can regenerate shields without having to heal, absorb projectiles, and set up perimeter fences super fast before the team you engage knocks one of your teammates. Placement of this electrical safety hazard is vital because you want it to absorb as much ordnance as possible, so even when the shield health pool runs out, don't abandon it, as it will still delete projectiles and keep you safe. When initially placing your ultimate, do your best to spam some fences that surround the pylon and interlock so that the enemies won't want to get within the radius and it's harder for them to see you. Then use an ultimate accelerant if you have time to get another ultimate immediately. I tend to use this ultimate reactionarily a lot of the time because of a team we're unaware of throwing ordnance at us. Just remember to stick it behind some cover so it doesn't get destroyed immediately. If you and your team are hidden behind some natural cover but get airstriked by Gibraltar or Bangalore, then place your ultimate down quickly to save your team from taking damage. Finally, if you're in the open, far away from cover and get beamed, you can use your ultimate to make some quick cover to hide behind and regen some health quickly, but this is only advised if you're really low on health. Wattson is a naturally defensive legend, and if you remember, she used to be in the defensive legend class for a reason. Apex's resident electrical engineer doesn't have any offensive or movement abilities, so she's naturally quite slow. Her kit instead revolves around flank watch and protecting her team. Bunkering inside of a building is the best strategy for Wattson because she can hide her ultimate and block off all the entrances and exits with ease. When not in a building, pay attention to your positioning because you have no abilities to help with that. Take high ground when you can and play conservative. If your teammates start pushing, push with them, but refrain from leading the charge so you can deploy your abilities to help your team if necessary. She's good in close quarters due to her fences and can also be a good golden knockdown shield bearer as she tends to stay in the back line. Don't get up in enemies' faces, but don't be afraid to push with your team. Watch their flanks and protect them from grenades. Wattson is a very cute and wholesome legend that has a pleasant attitude, so her voice nor voice lines will annoy you or your team. She's very bubbly and makes a lot of puns to do with her kit. You won't be put off playing her because of her personality. In fact, I don't know anyone who dislikes it. Wattson is one of those characters that can excel in all forms of combat, but I always lean towards an assault rifle for mid-range combat and a shotgun for close-ranged combat. I always found myself gravitating towards the Nemesis when playing Wattson, but honestly any assault rifle will do for her. The Mastiff is my shotgun of choice because I got really good with it whilst gathering clips for this video, and I think it really suited Wattson because of having to duck in and out of cover between shots. You can also play long-ranged with Wattson because of her naturally more passive playstyle, so supporting your team with a longbow or sentinel from the backlines can also work really well. I can recommend giving the Nemesis and Mastiff combo a try because Wattson really does excel with these two guns, but you can make your favourite guns work if you want to run those instead. Wattson has one real counter: Crypto. And bullets, I guess. Crypto's EMP is your kryptonite, as one blast will destroy all of your nodes, your interception pylon, and half of your evo shields. To mitigate the damage, you can have an ultimate accelerant on you and charge your ultimate again if you haven't already done so you can quickly rebuild all the fences and regenerate your shields again. To prevent this entirely, shoot the drone before the EMP burst goes off, but a good crypto won't let you do this. Bullets can destroy your fence nodes and ultimate, so place them out of sight of the enemy when possible. Place your fence nodes as far to the side of the entryway you're trying to block off as possible so that the enemies have a harder time trying to shoot them out. Use an ultimate accelerant immediately after placing an interception pylon so you have one to place down if your current one gets destroyed and you need to protect yourself from more ordnance. If Gibraltar, Bangalore, Fuse or Horizon send their ultimate your way, quickly place yours down to delete theirs from existence. Learn how to rapidly place your fences so you can stun enemies that are chasing you to gain gain the upper hand if they aren't paying attention to what's in front of them. Learn how to combine all three of your abilities to make one big area of the map that enemies won't want to enter and can't flush you out of easily. Overall, Wattson is a middle-of-the-road legend in terms of difficulty in my opinion. Her kit can be quite clunky at first, and learning to place everything quickly in safe spots can be quite difficult, but when you do get a hang of it, she's quite easy to play. Learn where to place her fences, when to place her ultimate, how to organise your inventory to fit those ultimate accelerants in, how to adapt your playstyle and loadout to your teammates' aggression, and you are sure to become a pretty decent Wattson player. Thank you all for watching, I do hope you enjoyed. If you found this guide helpful in any way, shape or form, please do consider subscribing and sharing it with your friends, as it does help grow the channel, which is very much appreciated. As always, all the clips you saw in this video were taken from my Twitch stream, link will be on screen in the description. The redo of the Bloodhound guide will be next for the Apex series, and I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye. Oh my god! That might have been the greatest Kraber shot I've ever hit. And then I go on to knock this guy as well. Crazy.